What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So let's take a quick listen to Jessica McCaskill.
Upset Taylor and 140 pounds. Do you think that would have been the same result had it been you?
No, I would have knocked Katie out. Yeah, she's not old in the sense of like an old person, but she's an old fighter. She's got a lot of miles on her. She's not. She's There's a lot of people that she fights that's just like she goes 10 rounds, and it's like you should have been putting them down if you were as good as you were or as in good shape as you were. I fought her when I had less than 30 fights in my entire career. We're talking amateur and pro. I was very green, and I shouldn't have given her as much problems as I did. She shouldn't have gone 10 rounds. So just kind of from that, you see like, the opponents are either picked at the right time, or the opponents are, just not really up to par. But they call them mandatory, and then everybody gets excited. So
Okay, so let me say, based on what she said, now I'll say this about females boxing. It's still young, still very young. I mean, from the Layla Ali, the Christy Martins, the Mia St. Johns, like, they didn't even have a lot of female competition, and even what they had was very green. These females were not like bred into boxing. It's not like they've been fighting since they were kids, and now they finally get to come in and actually, there were people that because of Christy Martin and Layla and Mia and the Ann Wolves, people were saying, okay, I can actually do this. I can become a boxer. So most of them got late starts, and like right now, it's no different. Most of these fighters haven't been fighting since they were kids, so it's kind of it's young. So therefore, when you do have very skilled fighters, like fighters that are skilled, they're not gonna have much to pick and choose from in terms of other skillful fighters in the division. So this is one of the reasons why they're going up and down in weight so much and trying so much to become undisputed in different weight classes, because they don't have like what 135 has for the men, or 140 for the men. Now wouldn't it now it would be cool if you had Katie Taylor, you know, Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall, you know, um, all of these people, Chantel Karen, all in one weight class, but that's not the case. So it's very young. So the thing is this: for every champion, and this is another reason why a lot of these champions, like the best, the best of the divisions, okay, the best female fighters that's around, they are the best female fighters that's around. It's as simple as that. So going up and down and winning titles in multiple divisions and all of that, that's beautiful. But the whole point is like a lot of them, like you don't see this in men's boxing too often, where most of these female, a lot of them, they're winning championships before they have 10 fights. So it's one of these things like if you don't have an extensive amateur career or just amateur experience in general, we heard what she said about her amateur and pro career combined. She had, she said less than 30 fights when she fought against Katie Taylor. Now, she says she would have knocked Katie Taylor out if she was fighting her instead of Chantel Cameron. Maybe, maybe not. You know, they fought, and according to her, she was too green, and she still gave her problems. She also lost to Chantel Cameron. So she wants the rematch, and she said that she doesn't rate Chantel Cameron. I don't understand how, because Chantel Cameron beat you, but that's another story. Now, I pay attention to the fighters, not the fans. I listen to what people say, but like I'll give you an example. I saw Ebony Bridges fight. I forgot the fight that I saw her have, where I'm reading the comment section. I saw the fight when it happened, but rewatching the fight and looking at reading comments. I'll give you an example, right? They were praising her in the comment section, like she's an excellent fighter. Oh, this is a win for Aussie. She's this, she's that. So perfect. oh, she do this to Shield. She always bringing up fighters that's not even in the division, but she do this to Shield. She'll beat Baumgartner. She'll beat all of them. She's this. She's that. She right. One thing that I notice about Ebony Bridges, she has will, determination. She's a pressure fighter. But if one thing I noticed about her, she just paused with her jab. She has nothing behind it. It's just a rangefinder. She comes in, she'll move her head from outside, but once she gets in, she just pauses with her jab and she's there to be hit. And she doesn't shoot her shot with her lead hand in front of her. She gets in, she squares up, and her punches are like this. She's pushing. A lot of females throw their punches like that. They just push their shots with their head straight up in the air, like kangaroos. You ever see two kangaroos fight? They look up to keep from getting their eyes gouged out with the claws of the other kangaroo. And that's what a lot of the females do. They square up and they push their shots this way. And basically, even after she throws her shot, she drops her hands and comes in again, and she's there to be hit. She got rocked. She dropped the female in this fight, and then I watched more Ebony Bridges fights, and that's what she does, man. Like she. My point is, the fans were not pointing out her flaws like they do with the guys, and along with all those praise comments, all I heard was how beautiful she is, how sexy she is. She's gorgeous. She is this. Like, it's not even about the fighter. It's you're attracted to her. That's why you're saying these things. The same thing with, Hannah Gabriel's, her situation with failing her test. You see comments where guys are adding her innocence to her looks. So you think she's innocent because because of the way she looked. They're saying things like she's too beautiful to be guilty. Oh, beautiful is an understatement. Oh, words can't describe how gorgeous this woman is. I believe you. Oh, you're so gorgeous. Like, so that you can't. That's not even boxing fans. That's just fanboys that fantasize about a woman that they'll never even have, probably never even meet. Okay, not that they're better than anybody, but just you have to be a complete loser to just. That's what you base who you like as a fighter on their looks. So, and then that's one of these things where, anyway. So, what we saw with Katie Taylor and Chantel Cameron, everything is not an upset. I hear people use that term so much, like this guy said that she pulled off the upset. No, Katie came up to try to take her titles. I don't see that as an upset. I just saw Chantel Cameron win a fight. No different from, Canelo going up to 175 to take Beeble's belt, and it didn't work. And, how do you define an upset? Just because someone is more popular and the favorite to win, that could just mean that you're underestimating the person that they're fighting. So Beeble knew something that everybody else didn't know. Nah, Canelo's not taking my title. Chantel Cameron, no different. So you went up, you tried to accomplish that, and it didn't work. So everybody wanted, we just overuse words without even thinking. Why are we calling this an upset? So if Chantel Cameron would have been, if Jessica McCaskill would have been in there instead of Chantel Cameron, would she have knocked Katie Taylor out? Would she have won? We don't know. Okay. Jessica McCaskill, she's a decent fighter. And I like watching her fight, but when you say things like that, I mean, she's entitled to an opinion, but when you say you don't rate a person that beat you in Chantel Cameron, you did lose to Katie Taylor as well, and I hear what she's saying about either they picked the same shit. Now, they said the same shit about Floyd Mayweather. He fought guys and they were too young, or they just wasn't up to par, they were too old, or whatever. This is what she's saying. Now, I think at her best, Katie Taylor beats her regardless. I just don't see her, Jessica McCaskill, being good enough to beat Katie Taylor. And like she's saying that she shouldn't have gave her problems. I mean, it's boxing. It's boxing. I mean, then if the same way that she's saying that, if you were that green, then your team shouldn't have put you in there with her then. You shouldn't have wanted to get in there with her. Because at the time, if you feel you were too green, and your team feel the same way, then what were they depending on the lucky punch? Because that's not going to help your career to put you in there, and then you wind up getting beat worse than what you should have because you're just not ready. We seen Marvis Frazier go through that same thing. You know, his father put him in there with Larry Holmes, and he only had 10 pro fights. You know, put him in there with Mike Tyson, and he just fighters he just had no business in it with. It was a little different with Mike because, you know, Mike was young too, and they both were, you know, coming up. But just saying, he just wasn't good enough to fight Mike at no point in his career. I don't think there's any point in Jessica McCaskill's career that she was good enough to beat Katie Taylor. That's me personally. Of course, I don't expect her to feel that way. But she is saying at that point when she fought her, she was too green. And you know, the fact that she's saying she doesn't rate, you know, Chantel Cameron. Like I said, I just don't get that, because you just lost the fight to Chantel Cameron. So it's going to make you sound bitter and salty by saying things like that, you know. But I like her as a fighter. You know, there's just female fighters that's just better than she is. Simple as that. Now, what we saw with Katie Taylor, I'll say this. Katie Taylor is energetic. You know, she likes to dictate the pace. She gets in, get out. She'll throw a shot. She'll jab in. She'll jab out. She'll move. She'll get around the ring. She'll jump in with shots. You know, come in one shot at a time. Slip, move, walk, get back in, combination on you. Like, we didn't see that. She spent the majority of the fight on the ropes. And Chantel Cameron's pressure was all night long. And she was coming in, jab, right hand, get against those ropes, and she would work her. And, you know, all of this controversial decision nonsense, and as far as I'm concerned, Chantel Cameron won. Now, are we starting to see an aging Katie Taylor? Like she's saying, I agree that, you know, yeah, she's not old as a person, but in terms of boxing and with the wear and tear, that could have been the case. But what I'm not going to do is take credit away from Chantel Cameron. I mean, this was not a Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes situation. You know, at the end of the day, she still has titles at the lower division. And we'll have to see how things go. You know, like when Canelo went up to fight Bivol, he was too small. You wasn't saying that before that. You wasn't saying that when he fought Kovalev and beat him and knocked him out. So, you know, then, he's older than Bivol, and the excuses. So for Katie Taylor, we'll just have to see how she look in the future. And the same thing with Jessica McCaskill. Because it's easy to call someone's name and say what you would have done. But we don't know. And the fact of the matter is, you lost to Katie Taylor, and we hear your explanation, your opinion of, you know, why. And you also, not in this video, but I've heard her say before in an interview that she doesn't rate Chantel Cameron. And you lost to her. So like I said, when you make videos like that and you say those types of things, it just make you come off as bitter, salty, you know. Now, she did this interview and was just answering the question, but just saying. It is what it is. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Do y'all think that Jessica McCaskill, at any point in her career, was good enough to beat Katie Taylor at her best? Now, can she beat this Katie Taylor that was in the ring with Chantel Cameron last weekend? Who knows? It really doesn't matter, but I don't think Jessica McCaskill is good enough to beat Katie Taylor. I don't know about now. Who knows? You never know, because I don't know if this was just Cameron's style, just Cameron just brought something different to the table to her, or if it was a combination of both. It was Cameron and Father Time tapping Katie Taylor on the shoulder like, hey, look, I'm taking some of your speed away, taking the legs away tonight, because she was not fighting the way we normally see her fight. Was this her tactic on purpose, or, you know, usually a fighter resorts to what they know when the fights are not going the way they want. And so, I don't know. Sometimes things happen, but I'm not going to speculate in the sense of trying to take credit away from what Chantel Cameron did. She won the fight, and, you know, even Clarissa Shields, different people. I think that has a lot to do with it as well, is that people feel like they thought that Chantel Cameron was going to lose. Like, there's no way she can beat Katie Taylor. And I think that had played a big part in it, where people are like, wait, how did that happen? So, I mean, yeah, people underestimate people at times. So, you as a fan can do that. Fighters can't afford to overlook anyone. And so, I think it's a combination of all those things. But we'll have to see. But, you know, salute to Chantel Cameron because she did what she had to do. And I'm not going to play that old, but she fought an old Katie Taylor. Nobody was calling Katie Taylor old before the fight. You know, and things can happen, and you can see, like, okay, a fighter wasn't the same, but we have to see. And that, look, changing of the guard, things happen. It is what it is. Anyway, let me know in the comment section, do y'all think Jessa McCaskill, at her best, was able to beat Katie Taylor at any point? Matter of fact, at her best, and do you think that if that same fight would have been with Jessica McCaskill, that she would have been able to pull off the win like Chantel Cameron did? Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.